Hello, this is Grant, and welcome back to episode 33 of Dead Rising 2 Master Run. Today we are going to take on Sullivan in the final fight of the game, or at least in 72-hour mode. So let's let this cutscene kind of play, because he actually explains some really good stuff here.
Without queens, Chuck. A lot of queens. You can thank Isabella for that.
And TK looting the city? But that's not about money?
He went off the rails. He was well paid for his part. Then he just got greedy. His work, not ours.
Whatever happened to do no harm, Sullivan?
Open your eyes, Chuck. Do you have any idea how many people are affected in this country? Doctors, politicians, CEOs. Some of our country's best are infected. Even your little girl, Chuck. What would happen to your cute little time bomb if she didn't get her drug? Fortune City was a small price to pay to ensure our country's way of life.
You murdered these people!
Acceptable losses. This wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
You bastard! You did it! You caused the Vegas outbreak too, didn't you? You killed my wife, destroyed my family!
Everything that we have done has been absolutely necessary.
Alright, so that was a lot of exposition right there. So essentially he's saying that it wasn't just like a big money grab. The point is they need queens to make Zombrex. So in order to get more queens, they need to make more zombies. It does seem like kind of a self-fulfilling thing though. Like, in a way you almost could just like let the whole thing wear itself out. Like, get rid of as many zombies as possible. Use what Zombrex you can, but eventually your goal would be to get rid of everyone infected. Like, you don't have to like kill them, but as long as they're like a liability, if you're not kind of keeping tabs on them, you're just gonna kind of keep spreading it, and you keep needing more Zombrex, so you'd keep doing this. So it doesn't seem sustainable. So the way you're meant to do this fight is hand to hand with Sullivan. You can use weapons. I believe he'll kick you around if you have a gun out though. Up here, you can actually also shoot from down there. There's an airplane taking shots at you as well, so you need to be careful about that. Basically, the idea is, I believe the thing is called Skyhook. He has a backpack that launches like this kind of balloon that has a hook on it. Airplane comes by, lifts him out, and carries on. So that's what he's intending to do. I don't know why they can't do it sooner. I'm sure the plane has to like line everything up, as well as he's got to launch this. But the plane can blow holes in the roof, as you see over there, and you can fall down to some zombies below. It's really not a bad thing, because there's a lot of food down there, particularly lobsters, which is pretty much some of the best food in the game. Really get you back on your feet and going. This is meant to be more of a cinematic fight. Like, you can still lose this, but you're meant to kind of overcome it. Like, you can get low, and mainly that's because I'm just being like really greedy. And he's taking, if you're not on the platform with him, he just takes pot shots at you. So that's another reason I'm pretty low. But really, you're meant to get up there, do some hand-to-hand, and depending on what level you are, he's not that tough. He has a lot of health. Like here, I just had some trouble, but I know in other runs I did, I brought up like machine guns and whatnot up here, and that was also extremely effective. Notice the propane tanks on the ground as well. If you have a gun or some good weapons, you can clear this place out pretty fast. And it is kind of worth it if you're going to come down here. Maybe go ahead and do that. So here I just get some lobsters and accidentally grab some plates. I do have that double healing book, but even then you can see this lobster fully heals me. So I think it might do it anyway. It does a lot of healing for you, which is the point. So if you need to, you could come straight back down here and pick a bunch of healing items if you weren't already full health. There are some weapons around here. I think there might even be a maintenance room. But if you're looking for food, I'd recommend go finding the kitchen. I think it's over to the right. This fight usually doesn't take this long, but I've never really had to come down here, and I kind of wanted to show it off a little bit. Generally, if you just come down, get a ton of food, go up and fight them hand to hand, you're fine. It is a little annoying if he starts hitting you off, or if you're dumb and you walk into the holes. But, oh well. With some of the holes, there'll be like little platforms you can climb straight back up out of. So that helps a lot. So keep in mind, you don't have to go down through the entire thing again if you fall. But yeah, if you know what's coming, you can really prepare yourself pretty damn well to just beat him in one go. Plus, it's nice. They give you queens. Usually what I do if I have any spare queens, though, is I don't use them down here unless absolutely necessary. Rather, I prefer to kill the zombies up on the actual platform, since these zombies aren't really a threat. Usually you're fine if you're down here. But like up top, it's very likely that one could grab you, and then Sullivan shoots you, and another one grabs you, and then you're dead. So right now our goal is just to get back up there. Again, like queens aren't like a huge deal at this point in the game. I love the physics on that roll with that, how I push that zombie. Dead Rising 2. Dead Rising was never like a hugely realistic game. Which, I mean, I don't think it needs to be. It's meant to be kind of silly. That is honestly how I would put it. It's meant to be kind of a silly game. Or I don't say like tongue-in-cheek or kind of like dramatic irony, but dramatic comedy where it's not funny to these characters, but as like this kind of watching third party in the fourth wall, it's kind of silly. This is one of the other better strategies, is just having a machine gun. It's not ideal. He rolls around a lot, and he does hurt me, as you can see, but also it's just kind of doing a ton of work, and it's pretty damn efficient. Like if you just brought up like a bunch of food and like 2 or 3 machine guns, you could easily take him out that way. It's definitely faster to do melee, but it's simpler to use guns. Plus, one of the other annoying things about melee is I was wondering if that was going to do anything, so I was like, you know what? Better test it. So annoying. So basically the main issue with fighting him on the tower, despite the fact that you don't get shot at as much, is he just loves to throw you off. And that can be extremely painful. Can also like straight up just kill you if he throws you straight into a hole. I don't know what that was. It was some kind of taunt, I guess. He was like on a radio or something. But here he's gonna try and call in his little skyhook thing. What a dick. Chuck also made a comment about how supposedly he thinks that Sullivan was the cause of Las Vegas' outbreak, which destroyed Las Vegas, and that's how Chuck lost his wife and his daughter got bitten. It's mentioned if you play the demo to this. Be a terrible way to die. I don't fully understand how that works, though. Like, those must be some really strong handcuffs. Plus, I don't really understand what he's hooked onto. It seems to be he's hooked onto, I would think, his harness and a metal bar. So it seems like the harness would tear him in half.
This is Chuck Green. You want the scoop of a lifetime? There's a bunker full of survivors in Fortune City. And I've got the proof of what happened here. I need rescue choppers, and I need them right now.
That's a pretty good ending scene. And now I believe everything after this is not canon. Or I guess they'll have them loading it up first. But there is a point where, depending on whether or not you save TK, you'll get a different ending. And that ending is going to overtime mode or not. I like this is a good callback. These are like the 2 survivors from the very beginning of the game. They enter the safe room the same exact time you do. I think the reason for that is I don't think they can die. And they're guaranteed to be in the safe room for sure. So that's one way where they can make this cutscene and not have an issue where, like, oh, one of them died or something. And now it had to make a different case where they use other survivors and have to choose the right one based off the ones you saved. But essentially, he's going back to find his daughter. So, yes, not canon after this. I don't fully understand what does happen. If you don't give TK your Zombrex, he gets he's going to leave with Katie, I think, and TK as a zombie actually pulls him back in to an elevator, and the game ends there. They definitely intended Katie's backpack to be a very iconic symbol for her. I also don't fully understand how this happens though. At what point did he lose sight of Katie? You know? I assume it must have been when Sullivan was doing his whole thing. But it's weird. Anyway, cutscenes. That's officially the end of Dead Rising 2. 72-hour mode is the only canon one in this case, whereas in Dead Rising 1, overtime mode was canon. So, if you're just worried about the story, that's it. Everything else is just kind of a what-if scenario. And honestly, I think it's a pretty weak section of the game. There's some cool stuff there, but we'll have to worry about that in a little bit later. I think I'll actually go into it in the next episode. I'm not sure how much I cover in this one. Dead Rising 2 it was quite a thing to work on. It was my second full series. So there's a lot of stuff I wanted to fix after making Dead Rising 1 Masters Run. Man, I've been doing so much commentary today. Everything just kind of bleh, comes out of my mouth. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I learned so much. If you will go back and watch my first Dead Rising 1 Master Run, in many ways it's better. In many ways, man, terrible. The stuff before that even, gosh. So I learned a lot with Dead Rising 2. Dead Rising it's weird. I never thought of Dead Rising being a hugely influential game for me, just because it was good, but you just kind of play it and you're done with it because, like I said in another episode, you do the story mission, you do kind of anything you missed, and then maybe you do some achievements, and then you're just kind of done with the game. You've literally done everything in that game. There's not really much else. So I just I move on, even though I really respect it as a game. And then all of a sudden I come back and it's it's become this huge milestone for me. So it's really cool. So tell me what you thought of it. If you played through Dead Rising or if you just watched it, give me your impressions. Do you think, tell me what you think about the game itself. Do you like mechanics? Is there stuff you don't like? Is there things you wish they did? There's a lot of things where I wish they kept the photo mechanic a little bit in this game. I really enjoyed that. But I can tell how when they don't have a dedicated camera button and they could use that to make all the melee moves easier to use because it's on the trigger instead of some weird X and A combination. Or maybe just do you like the writing in 1 or 2? I think I prefer some of the survivor scoops in 1 just because they're more straightforward. But on the other hand, they're a lot more interesting in 2, better dialogue, more clever uses of mechanics. Well, it's technically in 1, they're simpler, but then again, they're also just the same exact thing each time. I wonder when the next time I'm going to end up playing Dead Rising 2 is. Like I said, I went back to do a no zombie run through of Dead Rising 1, and I don't think I'm going to do that for this game. It seems like that would just be kind of redundant, because the main point is just to kind of prove it's possible. I think in this game there's definitely way too many survivors where you have no chance of saving. In 1, you can kind of make it work, but in this game, there's a lot of survivors where you have to save them from a crowd of zombies before they'll help you. Well, the only way you can do it in this game is you'd have to actually get other survivors to do it for you, or just hope they fight them all off. I mean, you could try under certain circumstances to do put masks on them, or maybe just incapacitate them somehow, but I feel like it just wouldn't fit for this game as much. Or it would just be a lot of well, I can't do any scoops for the next day, so I guess I'll just chill here. See ya. It's not a very good video. I could do some themed runs, like I talked about for Dead Rising 1, doing Like say like a police run where you go and can use like a stun gun, a baton, and a handgun. That could be kind of neat. Or I might look forward into doing some of the like, additional content for 2. I guess I don't know what to call it, but they have like the paid demo is supposed to be really good. They have a Frank West version of this game, and then they have a DLC standalone thing that takes place after with both Chuck and Frank. And I think that may be canon. I'm not sure. But anyway, I really enjoyed Dead Rising 2. It was really awesome, like going through this and just like talking with people. I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I was able to have a chance to play this again and really get down to it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out one of the links below. Till next time, don't take your zombie safety for granted.